Hey, what's up guys, June here. In today's video, we're going over the week of March 21st, 2022. This week finished up on plus 7.16 stops. So let's get right into it. First trade here, we have a trade in the Russell. So right now we're in an upflow, or rather we were in an upflow and then went sideways. At this point, this is a breakout range. These were my top and bottom areas defined, and I decided that this was a wash. The thing to note is that this rhythm to the downside is there. So perhaps that was a problem with this trade. We could maybe potentially see this as a continuation of this flow until we start really trending up. Trending up as in, kind of doing this. Let's say if this confirms, then we can take that trade. For now, I took the trade, didn't work out, such is life. I'll continue monitoring this trade or this type of idea. So where we have a breakout range and it's kind of just going down, right? Still flowing down. It wasn't a crazy crystalline of a flow because it was more of a channel, came back down, decided to wash this and it was good enough. So that was a trade idea, didn't work out. Is it the best? Maybe not. Anyways, that was the trade. Next up, we have the MES, and this is a short trade, so we're going to the upside. At this point here, I decide, all right, we're probably heading back down. Not that we're switching the macro trend and going like this, but we're maybe heading for this 20-minute POC. So I'm trying to take a quick little trade down to here and then looking for longs off of it. So in terms of the overall flow, we had this as a confirmed swing. I believe this was the LSB of this buddy right here. Comes down, comes to the backside. There was a potential for a double breakout. However, I didn't take it. Double breakout being 1, 2, or maybe 1, 2, but even at that, that's a bit far. The double breakout for the breakout range is more or less have to be in the kill zone area. So in this case, this poked out just a bit, came back. I don't think I was looking at the chart. No, I wasn't. But interesting enough, it wouldn't have filled. It would have been a bit low. With that said, I did take the following trade. What's the following trade? Well, I reanalyzed the situation. And although we do have a POC defined right here, there is kind of noise, right? It's not going to be a single price. If I relax the eyes a bit, do I have it? No, I don't. Relax the eyes a bit and decide, okay, well, this is the noise. What if it already came back and tested it? What ended up happening? Zoom back in. Okay, perhaps that's a signal that the momentum or the overall direction to the upside has resumed. We came back to test this area, this value area. It came back and touched the noise. I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough. Comes back. This is where my swap happened. This was the LSB. It's come down, comes back, whoosh, press, boom, boom, comes back, some break, some fall into. This area was a little scary to hold through. However, the stop was behind this press where it defined the swap, where it kind of confirmed the wash. So there was a few things going for this. We had a breakout range similar to the Russell idea, as well as it already coming back to the POC. So overall, it was a good trade. I was looking for double the range, reversal bar within the noise, good enough. Now I define the noise as whatever my stop to be. I half it, half where the target is, and approximately it works. Keep in mind, sometimes my stop might be much smaller, might be much bigger. The noise is somewhat arbitrary, but as long as it's within 80% of the target, good enough, right? In terms of tapping, I allow it to tap the noise area twice, then I'll take it. At this point, tapped it once, I'm like, okay, still holding. Tapped it twice. If it were to do another reversal, I probably would have taken target or taken a profits rate there. However, I decided to go in, did a bit of a reversal bar. It did continue to go up a bit more, and it stalled here. So overall, the expectation was really good. In terms of stop management, I played it pretty well. I played it a bit loose. At this point, it's already 3-1. 3-1 up here is already, I locked in. It break even once it cracked this guy. Once it went up here, I took the, okay, so this is the swing I'm paying attention to, right here, the LSP. It grew again. So this is the grown swing at the moment. And I wanted to make sure I was under that. It never came back to test, but that's something I like to do, especially for longer targets. Pay attention to what the swing could potentially do and then go off based on there. Over here, this is beyond this is beyond 5-1. Somewhere up here is like 5-1. Once it cracked it up here, I decided to pull my stop. It survived by a few ticks, so thankfully I didn't get stopped out. However, seeing the risk reward was going to be backwards, if I had to stop down here, I had to pull in tight. So everything about this trade is pretty good. I do like it. Okay, so that's kind of the picture. We have some nice swing, which is surprising. We haven't been doing that for a while. All right, over here we have the MES. Again, wait, what was that? Okay, so this is a secondary MES trade. Right. So this is the trade I took. As you can see, near double the range, it stalled out, came back into the POC, into the relative noise, and I was looking to continue this direction. So this is a Friday, and what ended up happening, one two-wave pullback, which is interesting, into the noise, swapped. At this point, I kind of wanted to go long right here because something to break, something fall into, but my stop wasn't that good, and I wasn't sure if it was going to continue because we still have this flow. Instead of saying this flow, let me just show you. Still have this flow to downside, right? 1, 2, and I'm wondering, well, is this frequency going to repeat? It grew a bit, but it's the same flow. Grew a bit, and I kind of wanted to see this fail. So why? Well, it's going up here, boom. For the moment, I say this trade, taking it long is 50-50 because we're still continuing this. The thing about this area right here is it's a big, this wouldn't be a wash, this would be kind of a gap swap. So this would be a gap swap type of entry reversal idea. Maybe there's an entry here, but I want to see where this idea failed, this flow. So in this case, on breaks, I'm falling to, comes up. I'm following the LSB, and the LSB would be right here. So this is the last swing up. I'm like, well, is it going to repeat it right here? I'm looking for the flow to follow up exactly how I have the blue arrow facing. So this is what I'm expecting the market to do. Instead, it comes back up. I'm like, oh, okay. The sellers that took over from this immediate flow failed to show up again. Cracked, entry right here, stop, survived by a handful of ticks, man. Handful. Maybe the stop should have been behind the orange, considering how this is against the immediate flow. So I'll note that against the immediate flow, consider using a bigger stop. Now, if I were to right side entry, then I could localize it. But even at that, maybe I need a bigger stop. Whatever the case may be, this kind of drained me in terms of emotional capital. So I was willing to take profits pretty fast. I was willing to play for a much bigger move up to here. But overall, we're already a measured move. Measured move based on what? Based on this impulse, reaction, and then we take this impulse. So that's what this blue dashed line is representing, the measured move. And nice and high on a Friday, kind of near this frequency, which was matching with the ML, which was nice. And the ML is based, well, on the entire swing, and it was interesting to see how that handle 1, 2, 3, 4, it was interacting with it. Comes up 1, 2. Did it go up? I think it did. It went higher, but for 4.76 handles, 4.73 handles or stops, I'm more than adequate. 1, 2, and then it stalled quite a bit. I'm like, take profit. Good enough. So that's that trade. That was surprising. I was thinking that was going to fail, but it didn't. In terms of secondary trades, maybe even here, boom, enter. Wouldn't that be a trade, right? This is a press right before. I mean, it's pretty big relative to the reaction. Usually you want it a bit smaller, but gap, retest. I was even thinking I had a dummy trade right here. I could have added. This was at break even at this point. After this, break even, enter. That could have captured another whatever percentage. So very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so next trade we have the... Okay, so this is where we get a little funny. This is the M and Q. We're going up. I'm considering big V. I'm thinking, well, this could be a press. Boom. The problem is there's a wash here, a wash here. And if you consider it a different way, one that doesn't update right away. We have the channel going like this. And what happened here? I think it was okay if the market really came up. I marked this guy for the right side entry. However, I do believe that was an error on my part. I played it how I saw it, but right here would have been nice. Notice how it just doesn't take it out, comes back, and heck, maybe an entry right there. So this would be a wash type entry, right? Comes up, zoom, entry right there. This is in hindsight, of course, but maybe that was the trade down to this guy. Because we had a wash here and we have a wash here, we're like, okay, we're thinking to the upside, but instead it washes the immediate sellers. Like I wouldn't necessarily take this trade, right, based on an LSB, right? I wouldn't take this one because I think the long is still possible, but after this, could have been a short here, maybe. I'll potentially observe that more and more as we get into learning how these presses work. And of course, I took a trade after this. The problem with this one, I was declaring this as the last swing broke, a subtle swing entry, which is not the best. Or this is zoom, which was nice. One move. This was a little shaky. Over here was the problem. I think right here would have been the place if it zoomed out of it. This is the pivot it needs to take out, not this one. That one sucked. So both of these trades were lackluster. I have to admit, not the best. But you know what? I played it as I played it, and there you go. Overall, the picture was an expansion. So I saw this confirmed swing, expand. All right, cool. Comes up, comes down, boom. Didn't quite work out. So that'll be it for today, guys. Trades were decent. Some were okay, but for the most part, I was pretty content with my trading this week. Market seems to be coming out of something. We don't really know. In terms of overall idea, we do have a lot of major pivots to the left. So we might have a rotation back down to these areas. I'm thinking maybe rotation down to here. Whoops. Rotation down to here before we kind of, maybe dabbles, comes up, then goes. Or if not, it'll come lower and do that. I don't know. So before we do, or we could just shoot up. Oops. We could just shoot up from this area. Regardless, still interesting. And the comments is against immediate flow, consider using a bigger stop. So that is specifically for this trade. So yeah, that'll be all for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, adios.